So, just as a quick preface to the demonstration, I wanted to discuss some of the issues that I had with the antennas, some of the impracticalities of this attack, and then I guess I'll go into some other issues that I had. So, one of the impracticalities of this attack is just the actual size of the antennas needed to get a proper directional antenna setup. So I ended up building or attempting to build a 315 megahertz dual quad antenna, similar to what they use for like Wi-Fi and things like this. So this is a piece of tag board that I outlined the outline of the antenna. My daughter got a piece of it here. So in the past, what I've done is I've made Moxon antennas and similar log periodic antennas by using this copper foil tape, and it works pretty well for putting on a piece of plywood, or in this case, I was going to try to use some tag board here, and then lay it all out. For the Moxons, I've used wood frames that then I put the tape on. I have a couple of pictures that I'll throw into the PowerPoint slides just to kind of demonstrate the general idea of what I was going for. Due to the quarantine, I had a lot of issues acquiring the proper hobby wood and things like that. So it kind of that all fell apart. And so as far as constructing antennas, number one, an issue is that the antennas are just too large, really, I think, to effectively hide. And other than perhaps a log periodic or some other a little bit more well-designed exotic antenna, but something simple that, like, a ham radio standard antenna, they tend to be quite large. And so it would be hard to hide something like that unless you put it in a billboard or something like that. The offset for like this type of antenna from the ground plane is about 8 centimeters. So you'd have something about the size, about the height of a shoebox. And then obviously as big as this is my hand. So I mean it's a fairly large structure that you're going to need to have this antenna in, and you need two of them. So one to receive and one to transmit, or at the very least one to transmit directionally to jam the car, and then the receiving antenna can be omnidirectional. So that's the problems with the antenna. One of the other problems that I had was with the hardware. The Lime SDR is full duplex in hardware, but a lot of the software support is very lacking. So the demonstration video shows that I'm actually using two SDRs to both receive and transmit. So that'll be gotten into. And then due to the fact that I'm probably not going to edit this, there's a little bit of rambling going on, but I will try to keep it quick. And then one of the major issues of this attack would be that if somebody was able to set this up, then it could be fairly effectively done. I'm taking back my original stance that this video will show that it could be accomplished by anybody, including a script kiddie. One of the major issues that I had was also the fact that there's a very fine line between effectively jamming the vehicle and then overriding your ability to receive the key presses. So there's a weird, very delicate balancing act that needs to take place. And so that was something that I think possibly requires a little bit more finesse and a little bit more experience than just somebody pushing a button on a device and running with it. As far as the defenses against this type of attack is really, if you were to unlock and lock your vehicle multiple times, just kind of randomly, like as you're getting into your vehicle, sit in your vehicle and then cycle lock and unlock, you've basically voided any attack that somebody made. I actually recorded a series of key presses with the vehicle down the street so that it wouldn't be received, and I was going to use those to kind of play around with. And then I walked to the vehicle to bring it back into the garage, And of course, I unlocked the car with the keypad, came into the garage, went to go set up my computer, go do all my stuff. I couldn't get it working. I couldn't figure out why. And then it dawned on me that I had spent all this time isolating these signals, getting them all ready to go so that I could play with the car. And instead of unlocking the vehicle manually through the door like I was originally planning to, I pressed the key fob and thus negated about 2 hours worth of work. So it's actually such a delicate attack that I think it's kind of more work than it's worth when you could just smash a window or get a flatbed or something else. I mean, from where I'm standing, I would consider 101 different ways to get into a vehicle long before I would undergo this attack. A brick is free, and I've, spent a little bit of money on some radios and some stuff. So I don't think that it really makes any sense for, somebody, unless you're really trying to do a covert theft or something. So anyway, and then the demo is next. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Okay, so in the rest of this presentation, I'll do a complete explanation of all the problems and all kinds of stuff. But for what I have set up is I have an antenna that is right on the vehicle. It's gonna simulate a highly directional antenna just because due to the quarantines and everything, I've been unable to get a lot of the supplies I needed. So I'm making do in kind of a mocked setup. So we have an antenna that's right on the vehicle, then going straight over to the Lime SDR. Using the software that I have, the Lime SDR will not transmit and receive in full duplex at the same time, so that's been an issue. Again, I'll go into that. I'm using a RTL SDR to receive, and I have the antenna placed away from the jamming antenna so that I'm able to have some level of differentiation between the key press and the jammer. So just starting off now, we have the car functions as expected. So if we head over here and we start the jamming, hopefully this works, so now that we have the jamming going, the car should not respond, and the car is not responding. Then I will start the recording, and now we are able to capture the key presses while the car is not responding. So now that I have some key presses, I can stop the recording, stop the jamming, and then what we can end up doing is saving this file, save. Now we are going to be able to open the file. I am going to highlight a key press, and we are going to, let's see, we're going to create a signal from the selection, and we are going to hopefully be able to play this back. And there we go. And that was just played back from what we transmitted, or what we received. And just as a sanity check, we've got one more trial. So same recorded waveforms and everything. What we're going to do is we can highlight one of these waveforms. We can, we right click it eventually. And we are going to create signal from selection. Now that we have that signal, we are going to attempt to play it back. So if we come back over here to the play, and we queue up the Lime SDR and start. And it runs. And again, the keys are over there the whole time, so I did that straight from the recording.